It's Bumbleberry, and we are here to witness whatever Rabbit has planned. She was complaining before about inequality, so let's see what she's up to.
We have to. We don't have any choice anymore.
It will be for the better, I'm sure.
Indeed.
I peeked into the room to see the interior of the library where the 4 rebel leaders stood in a circle. And it's like a double rebel thing. Anyway, Sergeant leaned against the fireplace mantel while Rabbit and Shadow sat in the 2 empty chairs. Faye, however, floated to and fro from side to side in anxiousness. What were they talking about? I was so engrossed in figuring out what was happening in the room that I didn't notice a figure coming up behind me and pushing me into the room.
My lady, your student tried to listen in.
How rude.
Thank you, Bajang.
I grimaced, now out in the open. The 4 stared at me with cold eyes, as if they were ready to send me back to the human world as a corpse rather than going through with the siege. I looked up at all of them as I slowly rose to my feet, eyeing each leader, and as I considered running for the door. However, they each looked to each other in contemplation. It's kind of weird to see them all in one place again in a meeting room. The guy on my left, Sergeant, he's just like, humans, I don't know how I feel about them. It's like how some people look at babies.
Say, you didn't hear anything, did you?
No, nothing. No, I swear.
What was the last thing you heard?
Are we all in agreement? Something about it being for the better. I suddenly felt the guards of each leader behind me readying their weapons. What the heck? Were they seriously going to kill me for walking by and eavesdropping?
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hold on, guys!
I felt the guards back away from me slowly, most likely still cautious of me. I let out a small sigh, happy that I wasn't going to die, at least not immediately. Rabbit, however, still looked to me with an ear twitching in curiosity.
Let us ask first. Do you know what has been truly happening with Diana?
You mean about her spirit sister hanging out? I looked to Rabbit, knowing what she meant. Diana had been acting oddly, and it wasn't boding well. The more I saw her, I could tell that something was seriously weighing her down or influencing her words. Yeah, but what does it have to do with this meeting? As I answered, the other demons looked once again at each other before Shadow stepped forward nonchalantly.
Let's not play the ignorance game. We're going to assassinate the succubus when the war is over.
Shut up, you are not. What?
Oh, what the fuck?
Way to just blurt it out!
Rude.
There's no use in hiding it. We don't know how much she has heard.
No killing Diana. I like Diana. I became massively confused. Why were they going to kill her? How are they even going to do it? Why? What good would come out of killing her? Plus, she freed all of you guys. I mean, really. Rabbit stood and walked to the fireplace, staring into the open flames. I could tell that I was about to get an answer, so I listened intently, wanting to know why they were planning Diana's murder.
Diana, we fear, has become corrupted.
So use some demon magic and get it out of her. Corrupted? What do you mean?
Meaning, she's going batshit crazy like the Demon Lord!
Hardly. Oh my gosh, she hasn't tried to kill anyone. I furrowed my eyebrows. That couldn't be. She seemed mostly fine, save for a few instances here and there. Sergeant, reading my face, pushed himself off of the mantel and stood up straight, reminding me of his power with his stance.
Human, you hate the Demon Lord as much as we do, correct?
What? No? I glared at Sergeant's stupid question. Of course I hated him. He had trapped me here and forced me and the ones that I loved to join this war. There was no reason to even remotely like him. But I have never met him or been directly influenced except for the whole being trapped here thing. At my glare, Faye swooped in between me and Sergeant, waving their arms frantically.
Listen, we're not trying to make you mad, but, well...
This is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. You should not try to kill Diana.
The succubus has gone mad, and if we don't end her life before she takes the throne, then she will become as mad as the Demon Lord. There is no saving her.
What?
Understand?
I do not understand. Also, your ponytail looks like a hand, and it's bugging me because I want to, high-five it, and that's not what it's for.
Oh, come on, Shadow! Seriously?
No, this is beyond unnecessary. All 3 of you are complicating the matter when all that needs to be stated is the truth.
She saved all of you. She tried. How can that be? How is Diana mad like the Demon Lord? None of this made sense. Diana seemed mostly right in her head. However, she was strong enough to lead an army and help me survive until now. She even aided the incubi. These weren't actions of a madwoman. Shadow rolled his eyes and went back to his seat as Faye put their hands behind their back, swaying a bit in the air.
Well, here's the thing. Here in the demon world, emotions and stuff can be uber powerful. Things like extreme grief or euphoria can even become energies on their own, while other feelings become, well, they can become very, very bad things.
You mean like grief? Like madness?
Yeah. Madness is more than just a head-mind thingy. Here in this world, it's like a leech or a virus. When a demon catches it, madness just grows and grows until it consumes them. Like it did with the demon lord.
I don't think he's crazy. I think he's just a jerkbag, right? I don't know. Have you guys ever gotten the impression that he's crazy? Like maybe now he is, that he's desperate. Taking the new information in, I looked to the floor, thinking of the demon lord and how psychotic he was said to have become. He waged wars and apparently enjoyed burning down kingdoms and slaughtering the innocent. If that was how far madness would take a demon, then I feared for anyone else who was capable of falling into it.
You can become mad in multiple ways. By being born mad or being infected by it. Diana has fought the demon lord head on multiple times during the past 10 years. It was inevitable that she would catch the affliction.
That is such nonsense. You can catch madness? How is that possible?
We don't know, but this wouldn't be the first time someone who used to be sane went mad because they were around another crazy demon.
There was an uneasiness in the room. Something told me that none of them believed that this was the true cause. There's more, isn't there?
Huh?
I became bold. If Diana had to die, then there had to be a solid reason, and the madness excuse wasn't enough. Why were they planning it if none of them truly believed it? It's not just because she's mad, isn't it? Or isn't it? Or is it? It's supposed to be, is it? Anyway, something else is wrong. The rebel leaders became silent, letting the tension lay in the air in plain view and giving me my answer. I was right. There was more to this story. Detective
Diana
Bumblebee
doesn't deserve the throne.
That is so rude. I looked to Rabbit, shocked to hear her say that. She had joined the rebellion because Diana wanted to make things better. Why did she not deserve the throne now? Rabbit turned fully to me and stepped forward.
We all joined the rebellion to make this world a better place. But Diana has proven that she doesn't care about anything other than defeating the demon lord for revenge. She is not a real leader.
Is it because she didn't approve of what you said to her? Rabbit flinched a bit, remembering that I have I'm just an eavesdropping fiend. I'd eavesdropped on that conversation as well. She looked at the ground and let out a sigh.
I joined this rebellion to fix the broken caste system. With Diana on the throne, nothing will change. Demons will still be forced to live as they were, and my kind will continue to be nothing more than slaves and servants.
I don't think so. I think she's just saying we need to win the war first before we do a total revolution. The rage in Rabbit's eyes as she looked up at me could kill. I felt myself become fearful of her as she took another step towards me.
If this madness has dulled her sense of duty to the world, and I join this war for nothing, then I will be happy to rid the world of her, if that keeps my kind from being kept under her foot.
Her cause was noble-ish. I felt myself become lost on whose side I was on as Rabbit closed her eyes and took a breath to calm down. Rabbit shook her head, tapping her staff on the ground.
Regardless, we can't have you remembering the conversation we had here if we are set on stopping her.
I took a step back now, afraid. Were they really going to kill me? Faye sensed my fear and waved their hands wildly.
Whoa! Hey, hold on! We're not gonna hurt you or anything!
Liars! It's just like throw sand in their eye and run away and be like, Matthew! Incubi! Save me! That was somewhat of a relief, but what were they going to do? As I took a breath, Shadow spoke up, catching my attention.
I'm curious, human. Do you believe in the succubus?
Yes. Oh, what? The other rebel leaders looked to Shadow as he placed a hand on his chin in thought and peered into my eyes.
Who do you believe should rule this world? The succubus? Or one of us?
Are you kidding me? I've known you for like 30 seconds. I had a whole other game with Diana. And suddenly I became the focal point of the entire war's resolution. Why was my opinion important? I looked to the floor, trying to mull over his question and come up with an answer. I should rule the demon world. Diana had saved my life and was doing everything to make sure I could go back to the human world as safely as possible. Still, from how she was behaving, something was indeed seriously off with her. Was she really ready to take the throne? I hope I don't actually have to choose. The 4 rebel demons before me, however, were all smart and balanced each other out in some shape or form. I could tell that they could all bring peace to the world in some way, but did Diana really have to be eliminated for that to happen? Why don't they just form a council? Do like a republic type deal. I felt like I was standing on a precipice. I knew that if I sided with Diana, then she would eventually be eliminated by these 4 unless she found out beforehand. I could warn her, but what if these demons erased my memories or threatened my life? I was balancing on the edge of a knife, and I had to pick a direction to fall. I closed my eyes and answered Shadow's question. You know what? I believe in Diana. Screw you all. I've met you for like 30 seconds. I believe in her. Diana had done so much for us, for me. There was no way I could betray her. The 4 in the room stared at me, taking in my reply.
What does a human know?
Indeed.
Well, we did ask.
Enough. We need to continue this another time. For now,
Rabbit lowered her staff and pointed the tip at me, causing me to step back in fear.
et ex memoria de hoc loco mentem.
Isn't et and? So, in, out, memory, of here, brain, I don't know what mentum is. All at once I felt my head completely fill with white noise, causing me to grip my head and fall to my knees in pain. Ugh! I shut my eyes and the world spun around me before I relaxed as silence overtook my senses. My body floated for a bit in an empty void before softly landing on the surface, causing me to open my eyes and look around. Huh? What happened? I was in a hallway on the floor. Did you seriously erase my memories? Rude. They erased my memories. So I have no idea how I was there. I hope no one saw me snoozing on the floor. When I noticed that the coast was clear, I quickly continued on my way to my room. I must have been more tired than I thought. I finally returned to our room and flopped onto the bed, letting the events of my time in the Abyssal Plains replay in my mind. I had been trapped here, and soon enough, yeah, let's go to battle. Oh, we're not skipping things. Okay. There's a powerful adversary. We're going to set myself free of the curse he brought down upon me. What made my head spin was the fact that Matthew had been under the influence of his father and mother's control. It was beyond imaginary, yet it happened. I couldn't believe it, but at the same time I had no choice but to come to terms with it. As Matthew entered the room at last, I smiled and stood, walking over and wrapping my arms around him as he returned my embrace.
You're the best person in the entire universe. You know that?
Aww, Matthew. And you are too, Matthew. We held each other, locked in silence and unable to say anything more. We had been in a heavy predicament, and we escaped. Sure, the Demon Lord may still have some sway over Matthew, but it wasn't enough to control him now. All we could do in that moment was hold each other and listen to our synchronized heartbeats. As the thought of tomorrow danced in my head, I began to fear it even more. Was I ready to go into battle? Was Matthew? Were any of us, for that matter? We were about to walk into the final battle of a world war. Would we survive? Would I live to see Matthew afterwards and feel his embrace again? Tomorrow brought too many questions to think about, and I became frustrated and scared. Let's make love. I needed to hold him and treat the night like it was the last night of the world. Tomorrow was unpredictable, but tonight was guaranteed. Do you guys know that song? It's like, save tonight, tomorrow will be gone, tomorrow. It's like the exact thing that said. Anyway, old 90s song. Sorry if I'm dating myself. I guided Matthew back and sat on the bed, looking up at him before slowly easing out of my shirt, locking eyes with him as I slowly began to strip for him. P.S. I'm going to do the thing I always do. I'll put a skip button if you want to miss sexy time. His breath became slightly hitched as he watched, obeying my silent demand to keep his eyes on me. As I finally became bare from the waist up, I pressed my hands onto the bed and slid back, letting my legs up onto the mattress and holding them out for him to do the honors. I tilted my head, letting him get the picture as I dangled my legs out for him. Matthew let out a shy sigh before nodding and biting his lower lip, and crawling onto the bed, grasping my clothes and sliding them off my legs, leaving me completely bare for him. As he tossed my clothes to the side, I settled back onto the bed and held out my arms to him. Come here. Obediently, Matthew followed, kneeling between my legs and pressing his hands on both sides of my body, staring deep into my eyes and making me become lost in his gorgeous blue irises. I slowly danced my arms up over his shoulders and felt his skin slightly heat up beneath my hands, making me slightly smirk up at my loving incubus. I'm all yours. I want you to take all of me. The carnal desire that flashed in his eyes made my body shudder even before his enthrallment began to settle onto my body and completely encase my core in desire.
I don't deserve you.
Who does, right? Our words became muffled, lost in the air as he pressed his lips hard against mine and quickly began to discard his jeans, joining me in my bare exposure and taking in my scent as I relished feeling his skin against mine. However, what surprised me was him turning me over and wrapping his arms around my waist, hugging me back against his chest. I took the hint to grip onto the bedpost and arch my back for him, impatient. Then pleasure racked through me as I became a moaning mess in his arms. I'm kind of confused. Okay, so he's... Okay, alright, I'm not going to paint a picture for you. The bed rocked hard against the wall as I dug my nails into the wood and took in his love with our lovemaking. My heart sung areas of love as my core screamed songs of ecstasy for the man taking me. This was indeed our last night in the demon world, so we would relish the feeling of magic and lust melding around us as we soared into euphoria. Even as we angled ourselves to lock lips, our inhibitions became lost in the air. We became rough, rapid, and roared in the pleasure that rushed through us, quickly washing through our peaks once, twice, 3 times? We didn't care to count farther, losing our senses within our arms. As our ride eventually had to end, we settled onto the mattress, panting and gasping. The natural musk of our sweat danced in the air as we slowly cuddled together and relaxed into the sheets beneath our bodies. I was dizzy, swimming in oceans of joy and love within Matthew's arms, causing me to nuzzle my head beneath his and kiss over his Adam's apple. I'll always be here in your arms.
And I'll be here in yours. I promise.
Oh, Matthew, I just want to noodle your little nose. A sense of hope and courage wrapped around us that night, laced with our undying commitment for each other. We would survive. We would be okay. I felt safe in Matthew's arms, and I'm sure he felt safe in mine. We would return to the human world and be okay. Tomorrow would decide everything. The day of the siege is here! Oh, God, what's happening? Alright, what? What is it?
If you are indeed attacked, you need...
Okay.
No way!
So if we're attacked, I need to defend him. And he's like, no way.
When you get to the castle, I will be fighting one-on-one with the Demon Lord. If something should happen to me, then I need you to take over. She is not ready to fight him, and you need to be at full strength to finish him off.
She'll be fine. She has a way to defend herself.
Yeah, kind of. Poor Diana. You don't know that that little rabbit is plotting your demise, and you rescued her. I don't think you've been mean to her. I stared, listening and reaffirming the order. I couldn't lie. I was nervous. I'm gonna see this through. I looked over at my fiancé with a confident smile. I got this. Don't worry. Despite the worried look in his eyes, he nodded and held my hand, trusting me and my decision to agree with Diana's command. Alright, what does he say?
Man, well, I'm nervous. How about you?
I have a lion. I'm pretty good. Yeah. Matthew wrapped an arm around my waist and turned my body to him, hugging me closely.
Hey, everything will be okay, alright?
I believe you. I had to believe in myself and get us to the castle when the time was right. Speaking of believing in yourself, ooh.
Milites!
I finally watched The Neverending Story for the first time, which was pretty good, but I definitely might have teared up during the horse scene, and that's all I'm going to say.
She said that we're all fighting for freedom, and that she'll lead us to it.
Sounds good. Is that
Pretty
it?
much. Everything else she's saying is just to rile everyone up for battle.
Don't worry, Diana, I won't let them kill you. I nodded as I stared at the back of Diana's head. A part of me felt a little intimidated and jealous of the power that she had. She could really make armies bow to her and obey her every whim. I'm sure she felt similarly.
Everything is in order. Sergeant Diana's guard are at the front lines, while Shadow is with his legion to the west.
Are we good with our sneak attack plan?
I love little demon Matthew. Look at him, he's so excited.
We've done what we can to keep your way clear. We'll try to make sure the battle won't break through the path.
I nodded, feeling the need to rush to nip at my heels, pushing me forward. My fiancé seemed to agree, gripping my hand and walking at my pace alongside me. However, as we finally arrived at the forest line, Faye and Rabbit stopped, looking back at us.
Straight through here. The sound of the war will always be on your right.
Yeah, whatever.
You'll be fine, though.
Yeah,
Just
I
follow
know.
the tree.
Alright, we now had an acknowledgement to see the older brothers and their wives. So this is it.
Remember your surroundings and protect each other.
Yeah.
Be
Okay.
careful, alright? Make sure you stay safe.
Why is she there? What is she gonna
Princess, brother, we'll see you in the end.
do? I can't believe you still have the nerve to call me princess when you married this woman. How dare you?
We have faith in you. You'll make it there, and we'll return to the human world soon.
I like her outfit, though.
Kick his dead body a couple times for me, alright? Right in the head.
Thank you, Sam, as always.
We'll be right here rooting for you and watching your back, okay?
We'll win this. We know we can.
You can do this. We'll see you soon, okay?
Alright, I smiled despite the nerves running through my body. I held onto my fiancé's hand and gave it a hard squeeze before receiving one back in kind. We'll finish this, then we'll go home. And we'll get married! Yay! Okay. The journey was uneventful. The sound of war boomed beside us outside of the tree line, causing me to cover my ears a bit from the volume. But I shook my head and pressed forward, not wanting to become distracted. The goal was to get to the castle. I had to focus. There are imps. Alright, so I placed a hand over my chest, preparing to summon my guardian. Waves of energy pulsed around me before I jutted my hand out, forcing the familiar lavender and white mist to shoot up from my hand and slam itself onto the ground ahead of me. As it cleared, it formed an animal guardian, let out a large battle roar, and made the trees because they don't know which one it is, around us tremble from the sheer force of its voice. Is there a reason it went twice? Anyway, I could hear my incubus jump back at the sound, surprised to see my summoning and staring in awe at the same time.
Ah! Whoa, what the?
However, I didn't care at the moment. All I could focus on were the imps that I had successfully stopped and intimidated with my animal. Move out of my way. I jutted my hands forward, pointing at the imps that were stunned from my animal's cry, and commanded my animal forward. Go! On my command, the lion rushed forward, charging straight at one of the imps ahead of it and pouncing on it. As it landed, it swiped its large paw at the imp, ripping its chest open. The wolf rushed forward. The wolf? I don't have a wolf, I have a lion. Yeah, we're killing everything. The more imps that fell, the more reinforcements became shell-shocked. Some managed to drive their weapons into my animal, causing me to flinch and reel back a bit from the pain. But I pressed forward, knowing that I would be alright in the end. My animal pushed forward as well, animalistic in its carnage. The remaining imps began to quake and step back in fear, most likely never seeing a human use magic and slowly decimate their number. I didn't seem to mind as they became more open targets for my animal to strike down as we rushed onwards toward the castle. My incubus, despite probably being surprised at my animal's carnage, followed as I continued forward, commanding my animal through every imp that came in our way. All I cared about was getting to the castle. Okay, there was a slew of dead bodies. Okay, and then my animal slowly fading away. I watched my animal stare at me, its eyes asking if it had done well. I smiled and nodded slightly before it bowed its head and disappeared from sight, unable to maintain its form any longer without my energy to fuel it. That was all I could do before my energy was expended and a wave of exhaustion rolled through my body. I began to fall forward, exhausted. My fiancé, however, quickly rushed forward and caught me in his arms.
Whoa! Are you alright?
I'm fabulous. Why are you so shocked? Look at you. You're so stunned. Huh? I looked up to see Matthew staring down at me, fear and concern dancing in his eyes. We were safe for the moment, so I merely smiled up at him with a nod. I'm fine. I promise to protect you like you protect me. Matthew let out a small sigh before pressing his forehead against mine.
What would I ever do without you?
Aw, you just want to pinch his cheeks like every time he says something cute. I hugged him back, feeling relief that we had finally arrived to the castle and were about to rush inside. As we slowly pulled away, Matthew lifted me up and helped me to my feet.
Come on. You ready?
Super ready. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go finish this. With that, Matthew and I rushed forward to the castle. The final battle had begun. Yeah, it did. Alright, Diana's fighting him. Oh, I guess we can't skip any of this. So they're glaring daggers at each other. As Matthew and I entered, his smirk grew that much wider. Is that Matthew's mom? What? What? Look how grumpy everyone looks, except for the Demon Lord. He's like, hey, what's up? And his skull looks like it's upside down. But it's not, because I can see where the nose is. Anyway. Matthew, however, seemed to care more about the woman kneeling on the ground beside the Demon Lord with her hands on her knees, frowning at him.
Mother!
Ah! There he is! My son!
Are you drunk?
Get him out of here now!
What? I stared at Diana as she continued to face the Demon Lord. What was she talking about? The Demon Lord simply laughed and pointed at Matthew.
Well, what are you waiting for? Claim your throne!
What are you talking?
At that moment, Matthew's body pulsed with the faint blue light. He curled over his body and gripped his head, digging his fingers into his hair. Matthew? Matthew, what's wrong? Oh my gosh, I'm here. We can do this. Or I'm gonna die because we held your hand.
Get him out of here!
Instead of hugging you. I rushed to Matthew, now terrified what was happening. Before I could place my hands on his shoulders, however, Matthew vanished into a dissipating afterimage. Huh? I quickly looked over to see Diana with a knife embedded into her neck. Multiple other knives protruded from her limbs and back like she had been sprayed with a barrage of daggers. Diana! Diana's body fell forward, landing with a disgusting thud before a fresh pool of blood began to drain from her onto the floor. In front of her, however, was a crazed-looking Matthew. His lips drew across his face in an almost psychotic grin, watching Diana's body bleed out as he chuckled quietly to himself.
Now that is a perfect son!
Ugh. Matthew? Matthew turned to look at me. He licked his lips hungrily.
Who's that? My name's Zekiru.
Hi Zekiru. I'm Bumbleberry. I couldn't believe my ears. What was happening? Why was Matthew doing this? Matthew cracked his neck before licking his lips and calling out.
Racero, Uzeres, Omaris, Ezreal.
I had forgotten almost all of their names. One by one, each incubi brother appeared in the throne room, mid-swing from a fight, but stopping at the new situation. My mind froze. They were separated from their wives now. What would happen to the girls if their incubi were here?
Matthew, what is the meaning of...
I can have them all to myself now. James didn't get to finish his sentence. What? What? As a knife threw through the air and straight between his eyes with a terrifying thud. The blade's end protruded from the back of James's head as the light died from his eyes. James! What? Is this... What? This is a bad ending. This is a very bad ending. As James fell back and landed onto the marble floor, the others looked at Matthew in pure shock.
You little fucker!
Beat him up, Sam. Sam ran at Matthew, raising his sword high. Matthew, on the other hand, bounced a knife in his hand before chucking it at his brother. Sam swerved to the side, dodging it, but ran up against a vanishing afterimage. Oh no. Before my eyes, Matthew's new blade appeared in Sam's body, rammed through his back and chest. I felt my heart sink into my stomach as I watched Matthew pull his sword back out and swing at Sam's neck, effectively beheading him. Are you kidding me?
2 down, boy!
Why is this such a long, terrible ending? Oh, you're evil. I dislike it. As he turned to face his remaining two brothers, I felt the need to run, but my legs wouldn't move from their place out of fear. Well, plus, he's like the Cheshire Cat now. He can just, like, poof and stab me. Was the Demon Lord forcing me to stand there and watch? Oh, geez. Eric surrounded himself with his tendrils while Damien formed a sword in his hand, both now broken over what their brother had done. This was a nightmare, but the scent of blood was too real for that to be so. This couldn't be happening. No. Rolling his shoulders, Matthew began to walk around towards Eric. Don't you dare. Don't you freaking dare. In reply, the older brother shot out his tendrils, aiming to skewer his corrupted younger brother. The tendrils managed to find purchase, but Matthew's body quickly vanished, as if it wasn't even there. Eric looked around, panicked, as did I. Where did he...
No!
I looked to Damien, seeing him stare horrified at the air above Eric. As I turned to see what Damien witnessed, I gasped. Oh, Eric, no. Oh, I feel awful. I feel nauseous. Matthew was smirking down at Eric with a wall of knives between them, forming a ceiling over the older brother. As Eric finally looked up from Damien's cue, Matthew released the wave, letting the knife slice through Eric and pin his body to the ground. I felt like screaming. I felt nauseous. However, my body wouldn't let me move. Why? I felt a strong hold on me, keeping me in place, and I knew that the Demon Lord had to be involved. Matthew landed on the ground and turned his head to Damien, who was both filled with anger and racked with tears.
Why? Why?
Matthew clicked his teeth before charging at Damien, sword raised. Wait, so Damien... What? He also has a sword? Damien effectively blocked his attack, but wasn't prepared for a spray of knives to stab into his back from behind. The image of Matthew disappeared from in front of Damien, while the real Matthew stood a distance away from his dying brother, bouncing a pair of knives on his hand with a chuckle.
That's for making me go to the human world.
Dude. At last, Damien's body fell, the ground soaked with his blood alongside of that of his older brothers. Matthew stood amongst all of them, gazing at his work and chuckling. The Demon Lord let out a proud laugh, echo through the air.
Well done. You are more than deserving of my throne now.
You monster. I screamed at the Demon Lord, wild tears pouring down my face. As my voice rang through the hall, the Demon Lord glared hard at me, making my body completely freeze. He was the one keeping me in place instead of letting me run or fight.
Your part is done, human. Sekiro, get rid of her.
Shut up. No, you will not. I was quaking on the inside, but I had to watch as Matthew turned on me with a sickening grin. You're not even going to keep me as your little love slave? He formed his sword on his hand and slowly began to walk towards me. Matthew. No.
You keep saying that name, but I already told you. My name isn't Matthew. My name is Sekiru, and I am the true Demon King.
Matthew, you used to be so cute. Don't kill me. It's okay. I'll pet your face. I'll polish your sword, sexually or non-sexually. Just, maybe less with the murder and more with the cake and hugs kind of stuff. The last one standing. That's my ending. Great. Good job, guys. Way to go. Let's try this again. So, since we had the unfortunate experience of dying at the hands of Matthew, I'm going through and I'm being like an awful person so we can get his other bad ending out of the way, and it's hilarious to be really mean to him because he's so cute. But also, I started crying and Diana was super nice to me, and I was like, let's do the curse. Let's just be a bad person. So Diana smirked, sending a familiar shiver down my spine. For a split second, I swore I saw a flash of gold cross her eye as she replied to Matthew. Because I'm like, who are you going to sacrifice for the curse?
A little mongrel who had the nerve to electrocute me in my own castle.
So this must be the stuff that, like, Diana is acting weird. So yeah, that's all. Nothing was wrong. Sorry. Matthew found a bit before bringing up one of my hands and kissing it.
Alright, well, if anything is wrong, just let me know, okay?
You get possessed and you get everyone killed. That's a pretty big deal. And you also murdered me. I was happy he was open and ready to support me. See what I mean? This is what I'm dealing with. Let's be really obnoxious and smack him. I had to snap him out of whatever stupor he was under. I bit my lip and shut my eyes. Sorry, Matthew. With a breath, I raised my hand and smacked him across the face, causing him to gasp and the pale blue in his eyes to fade back to normal. It worked!
Hey! Ow!
That worked! He gripped his cheek and stared at the ground before looking up at me in shock, as if he had been stirred awake. That is for murdering me, and your whole family, and Diana, and stuff. Matthew, are you alright? You were spacing out like no tomorrow. Yeah, the way his voice came out of his mouth only added to the creep factor of the situation. I wasn't sure what got a hold of him, but I broke him out of it at least. And he rubbed his cheek and stared at me like I'd suddenly grown 3 heads. Why? I furrowed my eyebrows as he replied.
Yeah, I'm fine. I was just...
Yeah, liar. What? I'm insisting. Deal with it. I don't believe in you. Stay out of it. Let him take his own. He had to explain his actions, not me.
Explain yourself!
Explain yourself!
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'll comfort you. Don't worry about it, bro. Jump in! Oh wait, are you in danger? Oh no, this is when I was watching her do stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
stared at Rabbit, confused as ever, as she turned in and let out a sigh.
I'm sorry. I was doing some training of my own.
Alright, we need to have everybody fighting. Whatever, man. Discussing what? Tell me your secrets. Are you gonna kill me now? Yeah, hug him. Why not? He definitely acted like a kid, but I only been with this man for over 2 years of my life. I wrapped my arms around him, hugging him to me and making him gasp in surprise. I buried my face in his shoulder, silently apologizing to him with a soft kiss on his neck. Slowly, Matthew wrapped his arms around me as well, taking in a breath and relaxing once more within my arms. There's a peaceful moment.
I don't understand why you like me at all, you know?
Who knows? Maybe it's because you make cake, but you haven't made a single one this whole episode. Oh, is this death? Is this it? Still, I believed in him. I slowly stood up and walked over, opening my arms for him. Matthew, I love you and I'm here for you. Please break through this and come back to me. I've been horrible to him this whole time. Uh-oh, he reached out his hands for me. I could see the desperation in his eyes as he tried to listen. Yeah, that was it. I walked forward and held his hands before feeling them slide up to my cheeks, warming my face with his palms.
You.
For a moment, a glimmer of his blue eyes filled my heart with joy. Then next, a shiver of dread ran up my spine.
You are so pathetic.
Yep, there he is. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I didn't get a chance to do anything before his hands gripped my head and twisted it back, snapping my neck and killing me.
No!
Nice, and never trust a monster. Awesome. Now we can get the good ending. Who's ready for the good ending? But that's all I can handle for now. So I'll see you next time on Seduce Me to the Demon Wars. Stay sweet. Bye.